Time to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go!
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition.
Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly, before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Escape Pod. I'm your host, Josh, and today we are going to be talking all about The Mandalorian, episode 4. That was a fantastic episode. It's called Sanctuary, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. And I have Reid, AJ, Ben, and another Ben that has not previously been on the show. He's actually my brother-in-law. He's going to be joining me as well. So between the group of us, we have a great roundtable discussion about all this Mandalorian content. There's a bit that comes up about Kathleen Kennedy's news this past week. She referenced the fact that there is no source material to go off of. It was a bit of a controversy if you were following that. That comes up. And we do, in fact, cover the TV spots and the clip that was released. Quote, "They fly now." Yeah, we cover that too. And very briefly at the end. So yeah, if you haven't seen any of this stuff and you're avoiding episode 9 stuff, please turn back now. Just a forward there. And again, please keep track of things that you want to get in touch with us, and our contact info is in the description of this podcast, and will also be presented at the end. So thank you again for tuning in, and welcome back to the Escape Pod.
Another happy landing.
All right, welcome back, Ben, Reid, AJ, and we have a new voice on the show, Ben. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, just say something quick so that the listeners can hear your voice a little bit. Just maybe say what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Have you seen the Clone Wars? All that stuff. Just give us a rundown.
My favorite Star Wars movie is Star Wars Rogue One. I have seen all of Star Wars The Clone Wars. I've seen all except the last season of Star Wars Rebels. And I have read some of the books. But yes, I am a big Star Wars fan, and I am Josh's
brother-in-law.
So
that's right.
It definitely works out in our favor.
Yeah, it'll be a little confusing because we have two Bens here today, but we don't really refer to each other as names. You just gotta kind of pick out the voices, I guess. But yeah, Reid, how's your week?
Pretty solid, plugging away at work and stuff like that. Was definitely looking forward to seeing this episode.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, no, yeah, I was stoked all week. I was like, yeah, this is the Bryce Dallas Howard episode. Like we got something new going on. All I know her is Gwen from Spider-Man 3. That's how I know Bryce Dallas Howard, and then her dad's Ron Howard, who directed Solo. But
that's right.
Wait,
oh my
Ron
gosh.
Howard directed Solo?
Well, he patched things up.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that was credited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. AJ, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
You didn't have much to say last time. Hopefully you have some more things to say this time. Ben, welcome back.
Yeah, things are going pretty well. Pokemon and Disney Plus are actually ruining my schoolwork, though. I've not gotten much work done because of both of those, so that's been great.
Yeah.
What about Pokemon is ruining your ability to do
Okay, it's a long story. I used to play competitive Pokemon, and I'm getting back in it, and I've been making a lot of different teams, and what goes better with what, and trying to suss everything out,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, for those 2 people who might ever listen to this and play competitive Pokemon, shout out.
Well, hey, gotta catch them all, right?
Right, yeah. I actually didn't play Pokemon until I was in grade 11. This is only an adult Ben. Only adult Ben has played Pokemon.
I'm an adult. I play Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's and Ben and I, we go to game stores, right? There's just adults in there.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
Kids don't have money, the idiots.
I was thinking that before. I was like, how can we get some of our youth kids into games? They don't have money. That's the first problem.
Honestly.
They can't afford it.
Well, it can be an investment for even like, people our age still. Like, it's, just like trying to work and pay for school and whatever. Like, insurance, like ICBC. But yeah, no, it's man, this episode. Okay, this episode. I want to talk about this episode because there were so many things in this episode. It gave me vibes all over. First of all, I want to say this episode gave me major chills for Ewok Adventures. Have any of you guys seen Ewok Adventures?
No.
Okay.
Never.
To those listeners out there who've seen Ewok Adventures, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
What is Ewok Adventures?
I even heard the little rings of the theme echo through the end of the episode there. I was shocked that they would even hint at Ewok Adventures. It's like half a step up from hinting at the holiday special. But that's exactly what they did in the first episode. We heard a reference to Life Day.
What's Ewok Adventures though?
Ewok Adventures. Okay, Ewok Adventures was an Ewok-based film that came out. It was the last thing that came out in the 80s for Star Wars before the dark times. And there were two specials that were released. One of them, the first part was called Caravan of Courage, and the second one was called Battle for Endor. The story is supposed to take place between episode 5 and 6, and it introduced you to the Ewoks and two kids and their family, Sindel and Mace, and their parents. I forget their names. In the first one, they're kidnapped by a giant troll, and hence that troll is also the canon version, or the canon reason for why Ewoks live in trees. These massive trolls feed off of Ewoks, and therefore they hide in tree houses. And the Caravan of Courage, it's about the kids taking the Ewoks help them find their parents. Happy ending. They've basically crashed on Endor and they have to repair their ship. And in the beginning of the second one, it's a very dark one, and as they're about to finish fixing the ship, I think they need like one more part or something like that. These raiders come in, very similar to these orc looking creatures that we saw today. They all carry like swords and like stuff like that as well, and they dress like kind of medieval-ish with like pieces of armor and
Tusken Raiders.
And oh my goodness, I forget what these are called. Ewok Adventures. I wish one of you could help me out with the name of these things.
I'm looking it up right now, actually.
Okay.
All I could think about when you told me about Ewoks
Caravan of Courage,
was
Ewok Adventure.
The Ewok Hunt game mode in Star Wars Battlefront.
It got 23% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
So how did it remind you of Ewok Adventures? What part actually made you remind of it?
Mostly the fact that there are these raiders that come in the second one. That's where I was getting to. Basically, the parents get killed. The brother gets killed. The daughter's like, the Sindel is her name, is the only one that survives, and she's befriended Wicket, the Ewok, who is still played by Warwick Davis in this feature. And by this point, Wicket has learned a little more English and is able to communicate with Sindel. And these raiders come in and they pillage the village of Ewoks, who I think for some reason I think the budget only allowed them to make these villages of Ewoks on the ground, even though they should be in tree houses. So yeah, they are easily pillaged, and a lot of people die. And essentially a lot of Ewoks get captured. Sindel and Wicket get away, and they find this old man named Noah in the forest, and he's got this little creature named
Teak?
Teak. That's it.
Teak?
Teak.
Yeah. I'm following along on my phone right now, and I'm amazed at how you actually remember all the names to this freaking 80s Ewok Adventure. I'm just amazed.
Okay, so Teak, he's like this rabbit that like can run lightning fast. Anyway, they stage a rescue to bust all the Ewoks out of this castle. It's in I believe it was like a recycled set from some sort of medieval-based film back in the 80s. Knowing George. Stories by George Lucas, directed by somebody else. But they bust all the Ewoks out of there, and Noah basically adopts Sindel and eventually leaves Endor and Wicket behind. And Wicket and Teak, I believe, stay on Endor. But anyway, this whole episode gave me vibes of an external source like coming in to help a village, and like, them being pillaged and everything by like pirates and raiders basically. And there were echoes in the music I heard in the theme. Very Ewok Adventures. Also remind me of those of you who watch Clone Wars will know exactly what I'm talking about. That episode where Anakin and Obi-Wan help, and those bounty hunters help the villagers protect their village from Hondo and his pirate gang, because they come back for the what is it, the spice?
Yeah.
Or something. They come back for some sort of thing that they're farming there at the farm.
Oh, like an actual spice that they're farming?
This village is like farming something. What was it?
It's not spice.
It was something. But basically they're farming something and it's valuable. And Hondo and his crew come back every season to basically steal all of it.
Right.
And leave them basically with nothing. And it's up to the Jedi and the bounty hunters to train these villagers to defend themselves. Same thing, they're using sticks and stones and making little traps and stuff like that. And it was a really cool episode. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that really gave me strong vibes from that as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I was criticized for thinking that Josh knew everything about Star Wars. And I just want to point out that Josh
I wasn't criticizing.
Josh also now knows the set design and musical score and the homages to a musical score to a now non-canon 1980s Ewok adventure. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, it's not exactly relevant anymore story-wise,
Well,
but
apparently it is.
It's fun some stuff.
Apparently it is. Well, no one thought the holiday special would be relevant until the Mandalorian now came out. Everyone's like, well, you see here, everything is referencing the holiday special. The gun is the holiday special.
Hey, that's another thing. Lothcats. Live action Lothcats.
Oh, yeah.
Can you believe that? I never
cool.
thought I would see that in my life. Thank you, Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
Did you think about that often? I'm never going to see Lothcats in my life.
I know.
That was
Well,
just
I'd
on your
always
bucket
wondered. I'd be
list.
like, they're such weird little creatures. Like I wonder what they would look like in live action. Now we know. They look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Just less cartoony.
Yeah.
What'd you guys see? What'd you guys point out?
I thought it was interesting that our little Yoda clone was starting to learn social skills, because it occurred to me that he's never been around, or at least from what we know, anyone of his own species or any other kids. Like, he's just been tossed around from bounty hunter to bounty hunter probably.
For 50 years.
Yeah, for 50 years. And he decides to eat a frog like he usually does. And everyone looks at him weird and he gets embarrassed, so he spits the frog out. That was
so
a weird
good.
moment.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty funny.
But is it a Yoda clone?
Yeah. Okay.
We don't know.
A Yoda clone, not an actual clone, but
I think the idea is that they want to clone it or extract resources from it, but I don't think it is exactly like, or the child. It's actually officially it's supposed to be called the child, but I don't think the child is in fact a clone of Yoda, because it's 50 years old at this point, and 50 years ago is basically the Phantom Menace, and we had Yaddle and Yoda, and that's two from that species. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think like what he is exactly. I think he's like an original character.
I think my favorite part was the opening scene and just how the blue, they muted every other color except for, like, if you notice, like, the fish are just so blue.
Oh, the krill, yeah.
Yeah, and everything else is so muted. Like, everything else is kind of gray. And then when the Mandalorian comes, then, like, the scenery has, like, color again.
Yeah.
But the first scene, like, all the trees, like, they're just, like, all their saturation is taken away except for the blue. It reminded me of a couple, like, other franchises, but especially the Killing Joke. They use a lot where everything is gray except for, like, there's just every scene there's different reds. Another thing I was thinking of is, do you think you're ever gonna see the Mandalorian's face?
Okay, let's go around and say yes or no. Yeah.
I don't think so.
No,
It reminds me
you don't
of V for Vendetta or Judge Dredd, where he never takes off his helmet, and that's like the entire point is like, oh, his face is it. Although in Sylvester Stallone of Judge Dredd, he does take off the helmet, and everyone got really mad, but mainly because they wanted to show that Sylvester Stallone was in fact playing him. Yeah. Because they bought the star power, but I don't think so. I think they're smarter with this, and I really like his helmet, so I don't think they will. Josh,
just to clarify, we're talking about him as an adult while wearing the helmet, because we've seen his face as a kid already.
But you don't know his adult.
I think at some point we might.
We'll probably see his face at some point.
Really?
I think we'll see it at some point.
Well, I don't think it's going to be like in the negative kind of context that he has talked about it, like, shamefully taking it off in front of other people. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll be having lunch one day and we'll just kind of be like, oh, look, we're going to reflect on his actual face or something because he's going through some sort of emotion. I don't know.
No, I think they're going with his face is the helmet.
I actually agree with the other Ben. I don't think that we're going to see his face.
Okay.
I think it's going to, if anything, I think that they're going to end on a note where they're gonna have an opportunity for him to reveal his face, and it's gonna feel like he's gonna reveal it, and then he'll be like, maybe next time.
Kind of like this past episode.
Literally this episode.
Yeah.
They almost. I mean, I kind of.
Yeah.
You could kind of see it coming. There was no way they were going to take off the helmet that soon.
Also, I noticed that AJ shook his head no and didn't say anything, which really does not help the podcast form. So AJ wants to say his reasoning for that.
Speak, AJ.
I do think that he is going to take off his helmet at some point.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay, why do you guys think he will? Because I think they're going for his face is the mask. Like, kind of.
Oh, yeah. I think they are going to do that and keep that for a really long time. But I think at some point, we're probably, I don't know, maybe there's going to be some sort of emotional stress. It might not even be this season of Mandalorian. It could be another season entirely.
Yeah, well, they're already writing it right now. So, yeah, my money is on the fact that he does in fact reveal his face by the end of this season. If not this season, the next.
Yeah.
And if not the next, then maybe you guys are right. Maybe we'll just never see it.
I already know what he looks like too.
Okay, yeah.
I know who the actor is.
But you know, it's different. It's different. Maybe they just CGI his face and it's a completely different face.
Maybe.
Just as a huge flex.
It's
gonna be
Samuel L. Jackson.
It's been Mace Windu the entire time.
Surprise.
Or he could be an alienish thing. I was actually having a disagreement with someone over this. I wrote down was, okay, what are those birds in The Last Jedi called again?
The porgs?
The porgs. The little like...
Oh, the little friggin' penguins.
Yeah,
It's a porg.
It's a porg.
Okay, I was having a discussion where someone was telling me that they thought the porgs were cuter than little baby Yoda. And I was like,
no way.
So I want you to know, you're freaking fake news.
No.
It's funny. I actually thought of that while watching this. I was like, you know what? This might be the first species in Star Wars that's cuter than a porg.
Daisy Ridley thinks that Baby Yoda is cuter.
Well, thank goodness. Yeah, because I saw a
okay.
discussion. I was having that argument. And where do you guys fall on that one?
Yoda, 100%.
Yeah, right?
I didn't really care much for the porg.
So to that friend who knows who they are, screw you. You know. Yeah, that's a wrong answer there.
Yeah, dude,
Send him
it's
this
not
podcast.
It's not even a comparison. It's like, what the fudge did the porg do for anyone, anywhere?
Right?
They didn't do anything. I mean, little baby Yoda's picked up the freaking mud horn.
Yeah.
He's like, he's swallowed like whatever little...
Frog.
Well, he swallowed a frog this one. What did he eat the last time? I don't even know.
It
It was something weird, but he just swallowed it. Yeah, freaking whole.
And he took on the mud horn.
Yeah, man. Like, just not even a comparison.
What's a porg done?
They like squawked or something like that. Yeah, they screamed. Like,
No. The porg did make you cry.
Oh, yeah.
The porg did make you cry.
When Chewie was eating one. Barbecuing.
And then it frowned and it started crying. And then Chewie threw away his.
That scene actually made me hate Last Jedi even more.
I'm with you on this one. I was like, listen, I hated the porgs. I'll be real.
Well, you know why they're a thing is because they were the whole island that they shot on in Skealik. What's the name of that?
Somewhere in Scotland.
In Ireland. It's like that island.
Scottish
I forget the name of it, but they're a stand-in for puffins.
Yeah.
The whole island was infested with puffins. So every time they took a shot far away, they got all these little white birds flying around. They're like, okay, well, we don't want to paint all of them out digitally. That's just going to be a nightmare. So let's just make a stand-in for these
an entire
puffins.
species.
So they made just a short, fat version of a puffin with big eyes and called it a porg.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear that.
So I'm just gonna put it out there. I loved the porgs to the point where I went to the Disney store.
Yes.
Asked if they had a porg stuffed animal. They said no, and I checked back every week, and finally I got one. For
Wow!
Really?
$20 I spent.
Wow!
It sits next. I decorate it
That's
on
amazing.
my bed every morning.
Dedication.
When I
I'm pretty sure they're in the discount bin at this point.
See, I'm just really happy. I have my little I have a Yoda hat. Which now doubles as a baby Yoda hat. So that hat just got so much new life. I'm so happy with that.
Dude, it's like I was saying, that baby Yoda is going on the dashboard of my truck. If they make like a bobblehead where he's stuffing his face with a little frog, that is like hands down.
That's
I will
so much
like
money.
decal my truck with that. Like that would be
Oh man,
hilarious.
it's so funny. So many people bash little Anakin, but they're all happy with the little Yoda. But you know,
I know, it's
Little Yoda doesn't talk though.
yeah, no, it's so cute and it doesn't talk. That's true.
I like
That's
little
just-
Anakin.
It's the eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Big eyes.
Yeah, I like
big
little
ears.
Anakin.
It's like those
Figures
shots
too.
though when he's like standing next to the Mandalorian and they walk into that little bar.
Yeah.
Oh
that
my
was
goodness!
so
Like it's like
funny.
he's so cute. He's so
Yeah.
short and like
Yeah.
he can walk. Like,
Didn't realize he was that small.
yeah.
That little guy, for a
Yeah.
50-year-old baby, that little dude's got to be fit, man. Keeping
Oh.
up with all those big people
Yeah.
has got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rebellious moment in the ship.
Oh,
He's just like,
What's that?
don't touch anything. He's staring at him.
Oh yeah,
So
and then to
good.
follow that up when he's like, okay, stay here. Door opens. He's like standing next to him.
Hey,
Yeah.
Stubborn baby.
Does this not let us know that he might be entering adolescence?
Oh yeah.
That rebellious stage.
Oh,
He's
dude.
50 years old. I mean, like,
yeah, if I was a
think-
50-year-old baby, I wouldn't give two craps about what some guy probably like half my age is telling me to do.
I mean, he
Yeah.
only saved your life.
Yeah, it's
No,
Here's the
They
question though.
rescued
Here's the
us
question.
afterward.
With a case like Benjamin Button or something where you had a 50-year-old baby, would you put it in a cradle?
Yeah?
yeah.
Dude,
They
if I could
already
sleep in a
was.
cradle.
It
If
was already in a
pushing buttons
cradle.
on my
Yeah.
ship. I don't know.
He was
Yeah.
already in a cradle.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just got
It was
trashed.
That's
more of a
true.
storage
My
cradle,
dream is that I can be pushed
Yeah.
around in a stroller. I
was a
wish I
pretty
was small enough
That was.
not have to walk anymore.
Like a hover pod?
Yeah, oh my
So,
gosh, if I
like,
could.
like basically Wally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like Wally.
Yeah.
Hover chairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, where do you think these like little raider troops got an ATST though? That's
Well,
one
I-
that surprised me.
Question.
We
Yeah.
talked about it last time, right? Like, how long has this been since
It's
the
been
fall?
5 years
5 years.
since
So
the
that's
Empire
like,
fell. Yeah. Or 4 years, technically.
yeah, that's a lot of time, space and time for them to get a rackety old ATST or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
Okay.
there were a few of those
Yeah,
lying around.
maybe.
Might have been found on the planet, just
Yeah.
abandoned. They probably
Just
just.
found
Well, you
ATS.
mentioned that there's red lights in there that we haven't seen before, so it's very possible that they could have repaired it and then given it a little bit of aftermarket life to it.
Well, do you think it was painted before? Because there was paints on it.
Yeah, there was definitely war paint. I think
Yeah.
that was more of a new
Yeah.
new
That was
addition,
from-
unless
yeah.
that was just scratches
So
from
I
like,
was-
terrible driving.
During the thing, I was wondering, like, why does it have red lights? Is it trying to go for evil eyes? And I was very much corrected. So
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be
it was
that.
good. It was actually super interesting. Do you want to tell them why they have red lights?
Oh yeah, so like on like naval vessels and stuff like that, in like the recent history and probably up to date as well, they used red lights in certain conditions to like retain like better night vision. Or you were saying as well,
Yeah.
you looked not as much glare and stuff like that. So it's a viable like tactical thing.
Yeah.
It does look super cool in
Yeah.
the ATST, and
Yeah.
it was kind of weird that we hadn't seen it before, but it
makes a
there
lot
is
of
a
sense.
viable tactical reason
Yeah.
to have red lights.
Yeah,
in an
especially because they were
ATST.
fighting at night, so they have to want to retain their night vision, still have some sort of light to look at their controls.
Yeah.
I was like, that's super interesting.
So we read into it
Yeah.
way more than we really
Yeah.
needed to.
I also want to double check on the gloves. So one other debate we were having was punching a
Oh, yeah.
helmet.
Yeah.
You were
Because-
indestructible Mandalorian
Yeah.
armor
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
Josh with a fist.
exactly. He got the crap kicked out of him too, man. I was
Yeah.
like, is she not
Yeah.
hurting right now? Like,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that just not
Knees,
painful?
Her fists.
Yeah. Like, okay. She
Come
was
on.
a strong woman, and looking at the Mandalorian right now, he does not look super just ripped.
No, he's
No,
pretty
no,
lean.
he's not.
He's a lean
And
guy.
he's lean. He was like only a couple, like an inch or two taller than his like quote unquote love interest woman.
Yeah.
Than like the mother person.
The villager.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
And
the
the
widow.
Mandalorians that he was standing next to
Yeah.
in the previous episode, they
They
were
were all pretty
massive.
Yeah, they were some thick boys, and he or girls. We didn't see their face.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a good
he's like
point.
he doesn't look like, oh man, hand fight. He's just like, dude, I'm really good at using all my gadgets, which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty interesting.
Mhm.
I mean, I kind of like that. It's like, why would you bring a knife to a gunfight, right?
Well, it's like if you're playing like the Star Wars RPG and you go as a gadgeteer, you're not exactly the most brawny character in the game. Like that's reserved for another. Yeah, AJ's looking at me going, "That's right." AJ, you play a dwarf or a massive hulking character in almost every single
Dude, that's the way to do it.
Except that one
Tanky.
campaign, you played as a. It was what was those creatures?
Oh, it was like a
Even
mini-
keels species.
Yeah,
Basically like a white Yoda.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Like it's like a dwarf kind of thing.
That's
yeah.
what it
Also,
Yeah.
okay, actually, the biggest piece of information was that he was saved by the Mandalorian.
Yes. Okay.
That
so
was actually
I want
one of the
to
biggest
bring
pieces
this
of
up.
lore.
I was gonna bring
Yeah.
this up.
Level
That's
up.
probably the
playing
biggest piece of
field.
lore that I wrote
AJ,
down.
you called it.
Yeah.
AJ called it. I was very wrong about this. So
AJ was also very humble about it.
Yeah.
too.
During the episode, it was a kind of important part because it's like a quieter conversation when she's like when they're talking.
Yeah.
It's about like very important matters are quieter, and all I can hear is just AJ. See, Josh, you're wrong. Stupid. I also noticed that Josh turned up the volume at that point too. So
That was great.
yeah, that was good.
It was worth it.
It was you're right. So he was saved by the Mandalorians and adopted into their culture. He's not, in fact, one of them, which also probably points the suspicion to say that village, like what you read, you were vouching for this as well, that it's not on Mandalore at all. It's somewhere else. It's maybe on a planet very similar to the one that he's infatuated right now with. This woman is probably in the middle of nowhere, some desolate planet with a bunch of villages. And there was a separatist raid, and the Mandalorians maybe stepped in, or a Mandalorian maybe stepped in and saved him. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Ben,
Yeah.
you got anything?
Still lots to
on that?
No, I just
You weren't here for the last round table here, so I just want to get your opinion on this.
wow.
Like, where do you think that those flashback scenes take place?
I totally agree. I think it's just a random kind of outpost, or just a random planet with a random village. But the fact that there were battle droids attacking it means that, and based on how old he is, that clearly happened during the Clone Wars.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Yeah, that wasn't like a question.
Yeah.
That wasn't the
Yeah.
argument that we, or not really argument, but
It makes
discussion
me
that we
wonder,
had.
though, because we know, like, tell me if I'm wrong about this, but was Death Watch ever active on other planets aside from Mandalore and Concord Dawn? Did they ever act as like a liberating force to kind of prove themselves to?
I think they were
not in
selfish. From what I
Yeah.
saw, they were all about restoring the glory of Mandalore, and that was it.
What?
It is.
What's a death watch?
It is.
Death
Death,
Watch.
Death Watch was a
Mandalorian terrorist group.
So
Yes.
so Mandalore used to be a
I
warrior
mean-
culture.
Well,
Yeah.
They became
Yeah.
pacifists,
that's going too far.
Yeah.
John.
but there
I
was a
love-
huge section of Mandalorians that were still devoted to the warrior culture.
Yeah.
And so they were kicked off or kind of exiled from Mandalore.
Yeah.
But they and so they were on another planet called
Concord Dawn. It was
Oh,
the moon of Mandalore.
Yeah.
And Pre Vizsla, who was the leader of the Mandalorians, the Death Watch at the time, they called themselves Death Watch. They made a deal with Dooku and started working for the CIS, and they performed some terrorist attacks in the city of Sundari on Mandalore. And they came across as terrorists at the beginning of the show. And then later on in the show, they more or less change from being this, like, at least some of them do. So they the whole Death Watch clan gets kind of fractured and split in half, because what happens is Darth Maul takes over Mandalore or something. He challenges Pre Vizsla to a duel, kills him, takes the Darksaber, and is now kind of, quote, rightful leader of Mandalore. And half of them say, no, this is not the way we do things here.
This is not
Even
the
though-
way.
This is not the way.
Not
Even though that is like the tradition to, like, if you kill the leader, you surpass. But he's like an off-worlder. He's a stranger. He's not one of them.
And he's
got
not part of the
the Force,
Mandalorian
dude. He's-
culture.
yeah.
He doesn't have the culture. He's just there to basically rule. And so Bo-Katan and a few rogues, like, from the Death Watch, like, they rebel, and then they create their own freedom fighting force against the Death Watch. And Kenobi actually fights with them a little bit before things happen. And then at the very end of the show, which we'll get in February, we're going to get the follow-up to that whole
Oh, that's cool.
scenario. Yeah, on Disney Plus. So
Yeah.
get
And
Disney Plus.
They kill the.
Should we make a commission off this?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Disney, we want.
Yeah.
We'll take 2%.
Yeah.
Still be millionaires.
Yeah. 2% of your sales.
0.2%. Still millionaires.
All of like 60 people who listen to this.
Yeah.
Wait, couldn't they like hound us over rights? Because didn't you name this the Star Wars Escape Pod podcast?
No, you can name Star
Which
Wars.
is why we're asking
Yeah.
Disney for the commission, not.
I mean, there are so many Star Wars podcasts out there.
Yeah.
We're just like one of like hundreds
Okay.
that I'm pretty sure we're going to be one of the last to be nailed if that ever did happen. But
Honestly, it would be an honor to be sued by Disney. If I got sued, I would be so pumped. I was like, oh,
A
man.
Sheldon Cooper moment. He's like, "What is this? This is my court appearance, signed by Bob Iger himself, framed on a bendable."
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we're gonna get the call from Josh. Guys, I'm getting sued by Disney. Oh, sorry, man, that sucks. But man, you're getting sued by Disney. They know about you, man. That's awesome.
Right?
Probably made the news.
Like, what are you gonna sue me for? Like, I can declare bankruptcy so easily. Like, it's just.
I'm a limp noodle, man. Just watch me flop over.
Oh man. But yeah, no, that was there was one other thing I wanted to bring up. It came up last time that Jango Fett's armor may or may not be made of Beskar. Was that you, Reid, that brought that up?
I think. I mean, I didn't like make a very concerted defense of it. But I was just kind of like, I don't think it is. And then you were like,
it could be. Yeah, I was under the impression that it could be. But apparently on the Wikipedia page, it says that his armor and Boba's is in fact made of Durasteel. Okay. So I'm guessing that not all Mandalorian armor is made of Beskar. They do forge it out of other material.
Is Beskar susceptible to lightsabers?
No, it has
No.
some resistance.
It's
Okay.
It's just harder to
lightsabers.
cut through.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's how Jango Fett died, right? He got.
Yeah.
Well,
Although
granted,
he got hit at the
hat
neck
in the
seal.
Yeah.
In the expanded
the neck.
universe, I think I read up on this. I don't know if you touched on this, Ben,
A
but
little bit.
but yeah, in the expanded universe, I think there was something I read about later on in the story, I guess, like beyond Return of the Jedi, the Mandalorians ended up fixing that issue and creating special neck collars that were also lightsaber resistance. And
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
I don't really know. Like, I wouldn't read too much into it. It's very, very like expanded universe, and we're talking like comic book expanded universe
Oh, okay.
material.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty out there. But
Yeah.
I mean,
For the post-Empire galaxy that we live in, for that 1 in a billion chance we face a Jedi, let's create a neck seal for every single one of our soldiers.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Boba Fett's helmet has a dent in it, like a small dent.
yeah.
Which is the reason I actually, because I remember when I was reading up on it, like originally, on like actually I was reading up on the where Jango and Boba are, because I was like, oh wait, they changed. When Disney bought, they changed. They're not like true Mandalorians. I was reading up on it, and people were talking. It was like, yeah, but there's a dent. There's a dent on the helmet. It can't be real Beskar because there's a dent on the helmet. You know?
No, that's a good point. I know in Attack of the Clones, this might not have been a thing at the time when George was planning it out. They did have a dent-ish, not like a whole gouge taken out like Boba's helmet, but Jango's helmet did it have a dent at the very end of the Geonosis arena war. Like there, you could see it on the top of his helmet. I don't know where and when he got that. I think it might have been when he was battling Kenobi on Kamino, but he does have a dent in the spot that Boba has it. In the Clone Wars TV show, from what you've seen, Boba takes Jango's helmet and blows it up when he tries to assassinate Mace Windu.
Yeah.
He makes that trap. He puts the helmet out in the open and puts a detonator underneath, and then it blows up. I think Dave Filoni's clarified that is Jango's helmet. So Boba's helmet's not the same as Jango's helmet. It's a different helmet.
Yeah.
And that one might have been made of Beskar, because if there's a whole gouge taken out of it from a blaster bolt, which we kind of got hints at from Dave in a deleted scene of the Clone Wars from season 7 or 8. He showed this at a celebration at one point, and he showed this standoff between Cad Bane and Boba Fett, and basically that's when Boba becomes like the #1 bounty hunter, which was at the end of the Clone War when he takes out Cad Bane, and Cad Bane at the time #1 bounty hunter bites the dust, and then Boba becomes like the new all-time. But they were like allies for a little bit. He kind of gets his Western style from Cad Bane.
Yeah.
So you can see Cad Bane, like a lot of the Western style, you know, he's got the cowboy hat, and the biggest cowboy hat ever.
Yeah.
Like, I love that comment that Kenobi makes when he's undercover with Cad Bane and they're shopping for new stuff. And Cad Bane's like, now all I need is a new hat. And then Kenobi's like, as disguised as that other bounty hunter, he's like, you know, for someone who's trying to blend in, your hat sure makes you stand out.
Well, I remember the first time I saw Cad Bane's forehead. It's huge. So, like, I mean, to be fair.
He's a big blue, red-eyed thing. Yeah, he's pretty hard to not blend in. Yeah. So, anyway, that's where Boba gets his weapons.
Speaking of Beskar, though, the punching of a helmet.
Yes.
Like.
Yeah. So,
did she have gloves?
Well, just to follow up this deleted scene, if a blaster bolt can't, like a powerful blaster bolt can't, it only takes a chunk out of it. And as we've seen from previous episodes in this show, other blasters have only like skimmed across it and left like
or
ash
seared
marks.
it.
Or seared it. So I'm pretty sure a punch to it is going to do pretty much nothing. I think it's more or less just like the force of something hitting you.
But how much that can hurt your fist is my question. Is like, man, like punching something that hard is not. That's going to do way more damage to you. And I was thinking, watching that fight, I was like, why would you punch the head? Like,
I think the only way, like, not that I'm trying to defend that scene at all, but the only way we could really like anyone could defend it is must be some high tech gloves, man.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, she's a tough chick.
Yeah, dude, her
did you
arms
see
are
how many
bigger than your
times?
thighs.
They are. Yeah, her arms are like way bigger than my thighs.
No,
but
Josh is a massive dude.
As you can maybe tell. No, it's. Did you see her take those punches like a champ?
Oh my!
Man.
There were multiple times where she was just smoked in the face. Like we're talking like full on sucker punch to the face, and she just like flicked it right off, like shrugs it off, punches them right back. Like wow, like what a beast! Like what a beast of a woman! Like Viking right here, you know. Just like I don't want to get into a fist fight with this lady.
She reminded me. Wow, I said her name while I was watching it. Now I'm driving the character from Overwatch, Zarya from Overwatch. Have you guys ever played Overwatch?
Nope.
No. Oh my goodness.
Oh, once.
Okay, well, basically there is this no-sleeved, massively muscular woman who has like kind of like a similar haircut, and she's like, so like there's a bunch of tanks in the game, right? And like these are like, there's this one dude with like a huge suit of armor. There's this one dude who's like comically obese. There's this one person in a giant mech. And then there's just this like strong woman there just chilling, and she's just like, very tanky because she's a strong Russian woman. Yeah, and that's what it reminds me of.
I thought her character was really cool though, because I mean, like in the episode they kind of give it bits and pieces until they kind of play out the whole picture. But she's a former like rebel shock trooper. Is that what she's called?
Yeah, former rebel.
Because he dropped shock trooper, and then the first thing I thought was like, are we talking like Star Wars Battlefront 2? Like the trooper with the
the stormtrooper
electrical.
I was thinking the red trooper from the last season of Clone Wars.
That's also shock troopers.
Those are also shock troopers.
I was like, man, she's from the Empire. I didn't know that they let women be stormtroopers.
Yeah, but then you look and she's got a little tattoo on her cheek of the Rebel Alliance symbol. I was like, wait a second, you're a rebel? Like,
I think I missed that entire. Yeah, like was that not just a birthmark?
No,
I thought that
it was a
tattoo.
Symbol,
Wow, I didn't even pick up on
the
that.
Alliance crest or whatever was tattooed on her cheek. Because at first I thought like, oh, that's like an Imperial symbol, and I was like, wait a second, they don't have like a trident crest or whatever. And so then I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool. That she was a shock trooper. I think, I don't know if this was established or not, but I think was it they either called them commandos or shock troopers. It was the small group of rebel troopers that went down with General Solo onto Endor to take out the shield generator. That was that group.
They called those so in
because she referenced
her name is Cara
Return of the
Dune,
Jedi. They called those commandos.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even. They didn't call them shock troopers or anything.
Okay, just rebel commandos.
Rebel commandos.
Yeah. That's the group that Rex is in. Captain Rex.
Is he though?
They've like strongly suggested that's why he looks the way he does in Rebels.
strongly hinted that, but they haven't outright said it.
No, they haven't outright said it. But, like, he's alive at the end of Rebels.
Okay, this
Yeah,
is a
those
tiny
spoilers, those
birthmark.
are spoiler
I'm
levels.
looking at pictures and I can't find a high enough res one.
Oh, look up
Of-
Fast and Furious 7?
I don't think it's an
Or no,
actual
8, is
tattoo
it?
of hers.
Actually, wait, no. Fast and Furious 6.
No,
Fast
I'm
and
looking.
Furious 6 she's in.
I'm looking at her tattoo, seeing if it's actually like a.
Oh, the
Rebel
character.
Alliance.
Oh, the character. I
She was
thought
in
you meant
Fast
the-
and Furious.
Oh
movie.
wait, it
the
is.
actress was, yeah.
It is
Oh,
a
cool.
Rebel Alliance one. Looking at this pop figure.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have way
Okay,
better
Cara
eyesight than
Dune.
us. Holy crap! It is
Yeah.
tiny.
Now, Cara
didn't catch it the
Dune
first time.
is her name, and she has a Rebel Alliance tattoo on her left cheek.
Yeah, right under.
So it's on the right side if you're looking at her on screen.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's interesting, because like for the longest time, look, if you just
no,
kind of
100%.
looks like a birthmark.
I thought that was a
Like-
birthmark.
Yeah, I thought that was a birthmark for the
Yeah.
longest time. Yeah.
Just no one takes my word for it and pulls out the phone to
Well,
scan it through.
no,
Or no, Ben.
No,
did see
Ben.
it.
Ben backed you up.
Yes, Ben backed me
But
up.
I'm just more so being like, yeah, she has a face tattoo of the Rebel Alliance, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what? I didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, so see from this shot, it like you totally just looks like a birthmark, right?
Does
No,
it though?
it's a- no.
It's a tattoo,
You
bro.
can see it.
It's a definitely.
I can see it.
Like
Yeah,
you have
I
to
can
look
see it.
so hard. Like this is the
Okay,
shot. We're talking
that's
about
on
the
a
shot where she's
phone,
sitting
though.
outside
Yeah, that is on
the
a
hut.
No,
On
I'm with Josh. Okay, I want everyone to go look at how small it is. Rewatch this episode.
Like you need to
And
look at
then-
it for a solid 2 seconds or more
Okay,
to
because
realize.
This is the
In my-
second opinion in a row I've been in the minority
in my
for.
defense, this was the second time I watched this today. And the first time was literally like 2 feet away from my 32-inch TV.
Okay, that's fair.
Good
Yeah,
flex.
so-
That's fair.
Flexing so hard.
I'm sorry.
32 inches of pure TV.
Well, I wasn't trying to flex. I'm just saying it's a large screen with reasonably high resolution.
Speaking of flexing, when she walked into that cabin, when they sabotaged the enemy base there, and like she walks in through the door, that's when we all made a comment. We're like, "Whoa! Like she's actually so
Yeah.
beefy." Like,
I was thinking about it when she was fighting the Mandalorian. Also, talking of that raid, I'm surprised they didn't go straight for the ATST and like try and stealth around, find the ATST and disable it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't
like-
they just blow it up when it was inactive? Yeah.
Because they made an entire episode out of that
Yeah.
ATSD,
Well,
basically.
Well, then all the hard work digging those ponds would have gone in vain. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Spend all
Yeah.
that time digging. Might as
It's
well
one of
start-
those things where you can't think of an in-universe like answer, so we
Well,
just
I
try
mean,
and ignore
I
the
think
fact
they
that
also
that's even a thing.
wanted
It's
to,
just-
they also wanted to lure them out. Like that was their
Yeah.
thing. Is they wanted to lure them out to actually like, defeat them once and for all. I think them.
Yeah, but like you can lure them out with
Well, they
blowing up their
yeah.
walker as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was just hidden. Maybe they have someone
Yeah.
always piloting it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
maybe
imagine
the guy
just
sleeps in
walking
there
up.
24/7.
Maybe
yeah.
maybe it's just a group of random people that decided to band together, and there's this one guy who salvaged this, and he loves it. It's his baby, and he sleeps in it.
Yeah.
Well, I could see them having a 24/7 guard duty, like someone in the ATS. Imagine trying to go blow up the ATSD, and you see someone just there piloting, and you're like, "Oh, looks like we die now."
Yeah.
Speaking of the ATSD pilot, though, that guy was a terrible pilot.
Okay.
That was painful.
Okay, it's hard to pilot them. You see how they're moving. And
I mean,
like,
I
the
did
things
pretty
moving.
good. I went on some pretty big kill streaks in the Battlefront video games, like literally all of them. The original 2 and the dice ones.
Really? See, I never really piloted ATSDs. I was always
Okay.
clone troopers and.
Yeah, ATST, man. They're pretty
Really?
good.
Okay. See, I always found them a little difficult, especially like you're running through the forest. You're
Yeah.
trying to like weave in and out.
Yeah. I
And
guess,
then-
and I guess too, I guess too, the thing is like probably over 5 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a little
But also,
old
like,
and clunky.
Running through a forest, you're not just like running straight. You can line it up. Like you have to dodge a tree, so you have to go a little to the right and then a little to the left.
That's true. Let's stack it. So an untrained
Yeah.
random guy piloting it in the dark.
In the dark,
in a
yeah.
several-year-old machine that's probably been like just randomly put back together
Yeah.
at a moving target.
Yeah.
Over hills,
Let's
trees.
give him the benefit of the
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
he's tired. It is nighttime. You know.
Yeah.
Just
And
woke up from his nap from in
Against
there.
two very fit runners. These are not slow runners. Like I'm assuming that a former shock, like they're both fairly
Yeah.
fit people. They could probably run.
Yeah. An elite special forces trooper or former elite special forces person, and then a basically super soldier.
Yeah.
One incredibly powerful, amazing, awesome soldier, And the Mandalorian.
There was that moment when we saw the guy with the stick behind that fence. I had a good laugh.
I felt so sorry for those guys. I was like, dude, like, man, your life sucks.
Imagine going to war and these people have laser blasters and someone hands you a stick.
It was sharp though.
Yeah.
It was
They
sharp.
sharpened it themselves.
Yeah.
It's like that scene in Skyfall when they have like hardly any weapons, and then what's his face who the caretaker of the mansion. He's like, sometimes the old ways are best. And then he takes out this little pocket knife or something, like a little hunting knife. And it's like, well.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when they took the shotguns off the walls. Or whatever.
That's what I mean, they had
Welcome to Scotland. They had to see a 12 gauge or what?
They had the shotgun. He had a shotgun. Daniel Craig had a shotgun. And then they had just like the knife.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was it, and then they show up in a helicopter.
And
like very
made,
very similar to this episode. It was like
bombs or like tripped bombs or whatever out of like nails and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So how long is the Mandalorian gonna be a single father for? Because it's hard to be a single father when you're also a bounty hunter.
I was cringing. I was cringing when the Baby Yoda almost just got shot there by that bounty hunter at the end there.
If he died, I nearly lost my mind.
I was like, this is it. This is where he dies. Like, this is how it ends.
Yeah.
Because now, like, in like 5 seconds, my mind thought this. I'm like, because now he dies, and like now the Empire's gonna be after him because they're still looking for him as well.
Dude, I was watching that and I was like preparing myself for like Last Jedi levels of disappointment.
I want this baby to live.
Yeah. I was literally, I felt like Luke Skywalker when Darth Vader told him that he was his father. I was waiting for that moment to happen to be like, no! It's impossible!
I was half hoping he'd pull the trigger and this Baby Yoda would like force the bullet.
Yeah, be like Kylo Ren,
just like pull a Kylo Ren and just
dude, that'd be so. That would have been.
Everyone in the town's like,
that would have been #1 episode so far.
That would have taken me by surprise, actually.
Yeah. I would have also been. I was like, okay, maybe they're making him a little too powerful though.
Oh,
okay,
100%.
but
I wasn't really.
But I was waiting for something crazy.
But Reid though, is think about it. Reid's only how old? Never knew about the Force or anything like that. And this little guy's 50, already picked up a whole mud horn, and I mean, he could stop the blaster bolt, man.
There are a number of years between episode 7 and 8, so. Just like episode 4 and 5, there was a whole lot of dialogue.
You mean 8, 9, or 7? Or sorry, you mean 6 and 7?
Yeah, 7 and 8. So Rey was more powerful in the Force in 8.
Yeah, but there's like no time that's passed.
Yeah,
between 7 and 8.
No, it's just like it picks up where it leaves off.
Yeah, or is it 7? Or is it?
It's like the second after.
Okay, 8 to 9 is where.
8 to 9, there's like a year. Yeah, but it's thanks for bringing that up though, because JJ has gone on record to say there's a reason why Rey is powerful the way she is compared to Luke, who took a while to learn things. There is a reason that we will find out in this new movie of why Rey can adapt so quickly. That's also why it's called The Force Awakens, the first one.
Midichlorians.
So. That's right. I know. You know, he had it. Actually, let me bring this up. There's an article. Keep talking, but
we're getting
hold
into
on a
it.
second.
Yeah.
JJ
talks. One of my favorite things is there's on the Eric Andre show. One of my favorite like clips is just him being like, he's on the things like, listen, I'm not gonna get into it. It's like, but actually, I am gonna get into it, and starts yelling. This is what imagine. Like, Joe's like, listen, this actually, no, I am gonna get into it right here. Let's start pulling up the data. Here we go.
Yeah. So there was an article that came out, and it talked about this meeting that JJ had with George before, and I guess during the writing process of The Rise of Skywalker.
Can I do a quick pause? Quick plug for your own shows. If you actually don't know what midichlorians are, and you're just watching this because you really like the Mandalorian, actually, I forgot what episode it is, but the episode with top 7...
the most debatable topics.
Yeah, actually, Josh goes into a very good explanation of midichlorians in a rant of how much he likes them.
Did I change your opinion? I changed your opinion on them.
Actually, I was already...
Oh, you were already pro midichlorian.
Yeah, I just learned a lot more about them and stuff like that. But if you ever you think, wow, that's a fancy word that you're throwing around a lot and chuckling after you say it. You have your own episode where you talk a lot more about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I listened to part of that one. I think.
Yeah.
It can be a sensitive topic for older fans, shall we call them?
Sensitive topic. No one died.
So Abrams had a crucial meeting with George during prep. Quote, he had a lot of things to say about the nature of the Force, the themes that he was dealing with when he was writing the movies. And he also goes on to say, yes, there was some conversations about midichlorians. He loves his midichlorians, but it was a very helpful thing. Sitting with him is a treat just to hear him talk because it's effing George Lucas talking about Star Wars. I was always, it always feels like a gift to hear him talk about that stuff because the effect he had on me as a 10-year-old is so utterly profound. So yeah, no, he did talk about midichlorians. George, had some things to say about midichlorians, and I think that's because like the original version of George's sequels would have actually gone into that a little more and explained kind of more about midichlorians, wills of force, the prophecies, all that stuff, which would have been really cool. But we didn't get that. So, but it's obviously still in George's head, which is why he's like bringing it out now. And even though it hasn't really been talked about in episode 7 and 8, like I think it's still something like that. It's existent in canon. It's not like it's not like it can be overwritten by anything that Disney does because it's still canon. So even though they haven't like brought it up, like you can probably assume like Rey's midichlorian count is probably very high.
Off the charts.
Yeah.
Josh, are you a big fan of like the more fantastical episodes of Star Wars, where it's like these are the ones where it's more like mythology of Star Wars, or do you enjoy more of like the
I think like Star Wars as a
hard
whole
practicality episodes? Like, but what do you prefer? Like, if you have episodes about like
Star Wars as a whole, I think is it's such a different kind of storytelling. I think that's what captivates a lot of people because it's the only real like modern mythology that we have. A lot of mythology that we've been given to us has been given to us through the likes of older books and such, like Lord of the Rings,
history and stuff.
Very
like
old. A lot of ancient history tales, stuff like that. Star Wars is a mythology that's based upon a lot of pre-existing mythologies, but retold in a modern way. And George is onto something when he did that. And through every movie he's done, he's expanded that with just the next push, right? And I think a lot of people are a little disappointed that we haven't really had that with the likes of Force Awakens, which is why I actually like The Last Jedi a lot more, because it felt like I got that little push of extra mythology that got stuck in that film.
That is a good point. It definitely The Force Awakens, I liked it. I liked it more than Last Jedi, but I think Last Jedi definitely did a better job of kind of pushing that agenda than Force Awakens did.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like pushing the agenda.
Force Awakens was all about a hint of nostalgia with something
pretty
new.
much.
Yeah.
It's it really wasn't Force Awakens. It's like, let's awaken their nostalgia.
Yeah.
Just like
that Han Solo Chewbacca scene, they both show up and stand there. Chewie. We're home. That was cool.
Yeah.
Our minds exploded about seeing that scene, but it was very cool.
I gotta admit, I did smile when I saw that. I'm not like a heartless, I know that.
What's sad
I love
too,
that. I love that part.
I think they showed that in the trailer before they released the movie.
Yeah, they did.
And I still liked it when I watched the movie.
Every time I watch that movie,
it.
it's like it's a very hot. Like actually, most of the Force Awakens, the parts that I enjoy, have Han Solo in it, which is interesting because Solo's not my favorite character by any means whatsoever through the franchise, and
who is?
I have nothing against Han Solo. I have nothing against Han Solo.
Who is your favorite character?
Well, I love Anakin and Darth Vader.
Okay,
That's my favorite character.
Okay, that's fair.
But Han Solo. I love Han Solo. He's not my favorite character, but I do love his he's such a unique character, and I really I can't see the movies without him at all whatsoever. But he really made Force Awakens the way it is. I don't know what that movie would have shown.
I could see Star Wars at Han Solo. The more I think about it, the more I think Han Solo was there too. I was just he was Luke's sidekick. Actually, I don't know why.
I always saw Luke as his sidekick.
No, I think the reason is because I grew up. I watched when I first watched Star Wars is Episode 1. Actually, okay, not the first time. The first time I really remember watching them was Episode 1. So it was always the Jedi, and then like the Skywalkers were the most important, and like follow the Skywalkers, follow the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I think we're going to
yeah.
get a lot less of going forward after episode 9. We're going to be reaching this era of like no more Skywalkers.
Whoa. Slow your
Possibly
roll.
no more Jedi.
After episode
Yeah.
9, are we talking like other independents or a continuation?
Well, we're
of
talking.
other
This is the
sagas?
end. This is the end of the Skywalker saga. So we're not going to get any more
Skywalker
sequels
saga.
or follow-ups to this lineage.
So there's not going to be a 10, 11, 12. It's
No.
gonna be
No.
9.
I think
Yeah.
if we could do anything, it's
But-
gonna be Old Republic.
There's gonna be
Yeah.
There's gonna be a new trilogy which they're
Well, they-
where they're
yeah,
still
they
talking-
kinda-
Ryan
they kinda
Johnson
canned
wanted
that.
to do it, or
Yeah.
they wanted to do, but I think Last Jedi.
I don't know if it's going to
upset
happen.
his opportunity.
Yeah, it's that and the
Yeah,
the
you're nodding
combination.
so much. You're like,
There's a
"Don't
few
know."
things. There's a few things of like why those plans may or may not happen. Right now, all that's been confirmed for their future film is 2022. I believe that's going to be the next official release. And Kevin Feige is supposed to be producing a Star Wars movie. I don't know if it's the 2022 one or if it's another one. But other than that, we've got the Mandalorian season 2. After this season wraps up, we also have the Cassian Andor and K2SO Rogue One prequel series, and we have the Kenobi series.
And
So-
Clone Wars.
And Clone Wars,
And
yeah,
Clone
a follow-up
Wars.
to Clone Wars, and whatever animated show follows that. Hopefully, more Clone Wars. So Clone Wars biased here, but
Yeah.
How many
yeah,
episodes are going to be in the season of Mandalorian?
There's 8.
there's 8 of this season, and
So we're
next
already
season
halfway
might,
through?
yeah, we're already
Yeah.
halfway through. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sad, right?
Oh, oof.
Or
Okay.
happy.
It's
it can be
smart.
exciting.
It's smart though. You're getting
It is
a
smart.
quality show instead of a
Yeah.
quantity show.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
For sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
Because I noticed that this episode, it hasn't
this
been
show
very
has been
very
Isn't it
linear.
like-
it's been very all over the place.
Oh
but
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
this episode was longer than the other
It was
ones.
ridiculous.
I also
Oh, was it?
100%
Yeah.
thought that opening scene where like the Raiders came. I thought that was some other like backstory to another
Flashback?
character.
Yeah. So when I watched it earlier, I had the exact same feeling. I was like, "Oh, cool! It's gonna do even more backstory of his character and stuff like that." And so like that, I kind of had like a laugh when we first watched because you had that moment where you were like, "Oh, so this is like real. This is happening. This is now."
I was like, oh man, another village got. I thought he was gonna be up with another like-minded people who got raided, and like he did. I just thought that he was gonna meet someone who's like the same as him, and they have to like, I don't know, either gonna be put as opposites or the same. But no,
Yeah.
he went and saved them.
I'd like to point out episode 9 is 20 days away from
Yeah.
today.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
It feels like it's like further off.
Did you buy tickets already?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have tickets for VIP screening.
I have tickets for
Yeah.
two screenings. Yeah.
I'm going to now the
Yeah.
one right before you, like the 2:30 showing. So we'll
So
see you
sad.
at the.
So just
see
to
a crossover.
illustrate,
See in the lounge, the
just
VIP
to
lounge.
illustrate how so the last two Force Awakens and Last Jedi, I like pre-ordered tickets for both of them months in
Yeah.
advance. But just to illustrate how much I didn't like Last Jedi, I still haven't bought.
I don't know if I'm gonna
man.
go see it. So I actually bought it, then returned it, bought it again, then returned it again. I've been really back and forth.
Dude, oh my
It
god.
was all in your girlfriend's.
No, yeah, but
your
then
private
I rebought them, and I was like, I actually don't. I don't know if I can give them. I can't encourage them to make another Last Jet. I can't say, oh, I think what you did made me happy as a consumer, and I feel bad buying it on opening night because that's exactly what they want of me, and I buy the popcorn too.
Why do you buy the popcorn?
Because I love popcorn.
That's how they make their money.
I
At least
know.
you're honest about it.
Yeah, no, but
Oh,
so,
dude, I'm like a professional when I go to movies, dude. No drink, no popcorn, nothing. I go make sure I go out to the bathroom beforehand so I don't get up or nothing. I go in, I watch that movie
So,
start to finish.
Fun fact for you guys: I when I was a teenager, I did work at a movie theater for a couple months. Do you know how much money it costs for that for a big bag of Coke? So when we order from Coca-Cola, we get this massive, I don't know, how many 20, 30 liter bag of Coke. Do you know how much it costs the movie theater to buy that from Coke?
$5.
50 cents.
What?
I'm not joking.
And they charge like
And it's
It is-
$5.
It is like
per
6,000%
pop.
So wait,
markup.
yeah, what's the
That's
math
crazy.
on that? So 50 cents to $5.
It's like
that's
2 cents like a bottle or a cup.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
So if you think Yeah, just
That's
let
crazy.
that soak in.
Yeah, that's
Just
50
spend-
cents a bag. That's not even 50 cents a
Yeah.
cup.
I was having a conversation with a friend on what products have the biggest markup.
Does that not like kill you?
And it was like that.
I never knew.
Prescription drugs have like huge markups too.
Cables as well.
Yeah,
You worked
yeah.
at a Future Shop when it was a thing.
We're not going to name the company I worked at, but
Yeah.
I got cost plus 5% when I was working there as my employee discount, and I paid less than $1 a cable, which for the average person costs $29.
Highway robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have joined up with those raiders in the show.
Yeah.
Bunch of.
What species were they?
No.
Because I don't think they've shown the.
I'm calling them war dogs because they look like bulldogs, but then they were.
I like
warriors.
orcs better.
I definitely
As a
saw
Lord
them.
Rings
We
I
can
thought
look
it was
this
an
up.
They
They
look
orc.
like
can
some.
get
They
by.
look
They
like
did
some
sound
of
like
some
orcs.
people who'd be in
They
Jabba's
did.
palace.
They
When I
had,
saw
like,
them.
the teeth coming out.
Yeah, I saw them. It
the
looked
Mandalorian
like.
guards.
They're
Yeah,
not-
They're not
not
the
big
pigs,
enough.
though.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but they
they're
look
not
like I didn't
big.
say they, but they look like someone who would be around Jabba's palace. They just look like
I
I could just imagine
They do.
them there.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, they had the. I don't know if you noticed, but a few of them running away or whatever during one of the battles, they had like the pikes or the pole axes or whatever
Yeah.
they call them.
Maybe
Or maybe that was like a Tusken Raider thing, but I don't know.
No, I remember. No,
Which
they
is
had
a Star Wars
They're
thing.
ugly. They have guns. They're thug-like.
Yeah.
They can hang around Jabba's palace as much as they want.
Yeah.
Sensing a theme
Yeah.
for what they figure evil
Yeah.
looks like.
Wow, it's like there's like a light side and a dark side or something like that,
Yeah.
and there's no in
We haven't
between.
seen Rancors in so long.
Rancors.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like, man, I
I
haven't
saw them in the Force Unleashed.
Well,
It's
Josh
the
and I
last time I
saw a Rancor recently. In
Oh yeah, Vader
Immortal.
Episode
Oh,
2.
A 6 or a 4 was it technically 4 arms, 2 legs. Right?
Yeah, it was a really weird looking Rancor.
It was a funky
Yeah.
Rancor.
Wait,
It
what
had
was
like
this?
war paint, bro.
Wait, where was
What?
this?
Vader
War
Immortal,
paint. It was
episode
cool.
2.
Yeah.
The VR experience.
Oh, okay.
We still need to play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably
Super cool.
another bounty where they extracted the DNA and manufactured some kind of.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what they did with that
They took
Rancor,
Dexter's
man. But...
species with the 4 arms
Yeah.
and then melded it with
Oh,
a
yeah.
Rancor.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So they have been shown before in Star Wars.
The alien, the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Okay.
They are a Clatonians.
Oh yeah, the Clatonians, obvious.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously,
Dude,
yeah. Like,
Josh,
as if
does Josh know where the Clatonians are? Has Josh ever seen
I'm gonna take a wild guess. Clutonia.
Very close.
Yeah.
Very close. Okay, what's it called?
Clatoni.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, what-
Clatoween.
Oh, Clatoween.
Clatoween.
I
I don't
know
have the
this.
best pronunciation.
Okay.
AJ, though,
Yes.
where did we see
Yeah,
them?
my question is.
They were in The Return of the Jedi. Was when
Really?
they first made their.
Their
Wait,
bodyguards.
hold on. Were they on the land
Tatooine?
cruisers on Tatooine when with the
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
Dude, I was about to say
Jabba's
Tatooine.
palace?
Dude,
Dude, if I'm, I called
desert
this.
cruise.
I want that. I
Yeah.
feel like everyone Venmo me some money because I deserve it if they're from Tatooine.
Oh yes, yeah. There's
Let me see
another.
a
There's
picture.
another image of them here on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Clatooine is spelled Klatooine, very similar to Tatooine, but it's Clatooine, and it's in hut space, which makes sense why some of them would be serving Jabba.
Okay.
Yeah, that's them. So,
Vindication.
I got a question. How did a giant, fat, very useless species of slugs grow to such power? That
Yeah.
that goes back. That
Yeah.
question's a very long answer.
The Hutt's dominance. I
Yeah.
remember
There's a whole history
having to
to
read
huts.
this up.
Yeah, I should lend you my book. I have a book, really cool book called The Star Wars Atlas, and it gives you a complete expanded universe look into the Star Wars galaxy from like way back when and up until way in the future, and it has maps. It has like readouts and like historical like pages and like who was ruling when and like what space they were ruling at that time
So
or whatever.
real quick, how did they get to be in power, Josh?
in like the huts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna go into the full explanation, but
So he knows.
and then,
but-
there's they've essentially had the Huts go back to like if you play the Old Republic, you'll also know that the Huts have their own cartel going on back then as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but there's so many Huts that are like have their own thing going on. It's almost just a I don't really know. I don't know where the money comes from. How they don't have poverty. It seems to me that every hut is like in a position of power. But that's the question. That's a question. I don't really know actually. They self-breed, and by the time of the Clone Wars, there's like a council of huts looking after the Hutt clan. So like they're all kind of related. They're all kind of related to each other because they. What's the term? The
hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite. Yeah, they're all hermaphrodites. They're all male and female and give birth to their own. Like Jabba had Rada.
So they're asexual offspring?
Yeah.
Really?
And Jabba and Zero are both siblings with many other siblings to their mother.
What confuses me is Jabba's palace actually has arguably the most sexually charged area of any place in Star Wars, which is interesting considering it's owned by someone who has no need or need and maybe desire for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting.
Maybe it's for the people.
Yeah, you can say it's probably for like if you're gonna run a nightclub, that's generally how you do it.
I would love to think that. I would love to think that. However, there's that moment where the Twi'lek dancer is going around, and then he goes, and then he licks his lips. He licks his lips, and then she kind of gets angry because she gets creeped out, and then he's like, you know what? Screw this girl, and then hits the button, and then down she goes. Gets eaten by the rancor.
Dude, I'm not even gonna try to speculate on a slug's sexual tendencies.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Has anyone ever seen? Has anyone ever seen Stardust? Have you ever seen Stardust? It's this it's like the pirate who it just like has to like keep up the act of like being super
Robert De Niro.
No, because he has to keep up the act of being a super misogynistic guy who's like, yes, sex with women, hey, and then like when he finally comes back, he's like super gay is like the thing. So he's trying to pretend to be like because he has to keep up.
I don't know. Is he gay though?
Captain such and such has a fearsome reputation.
Yeah,
and then it shows him cross-dressing.
Yeah, and he's like, he has to be terrified. And so maybe the Hutt just really just like, man, I can't let them know that I actually like don't really care about this stuff because my entire business is based on this seedy underworld. And if they knew that I really didn't care, then it would just threw down my entire business.
It's okay, Captain. I always knew you were a bit of a whoopsies.
Yeah. I totally think that's canon now. I think that's canon is that Jabba the Hutt really just does it as an act. That's the only explanation. But like,
that just
I'm not gonna write that off.
That made this like recap for me was just that we went from Mandalorian to Jabba the Hutt to comparing Jabba the Hutt's sexuality with Robert De Niro.
It's anything away from this. Yeah. Remember that this comparison.
Honestly, it's probably a movie I look up when I go home.
Someone please tweet Robert De Niro.
This comparison is just the worst. Oh my gosh.
Okay, that is really interesting. I didn't know the Hutt's bred that way. But yeah,
I'm sure they don't talk about it often.
I wouldn't either. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, interesting.
I want to bring up this article which I found earlier this week. This came up and it's been buzzing around the internet, so I just figured we would address it. Came out Thursday, November 21st. Did you read into this, AJ?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Kathleen Kennedy claims Star Wars films have no source material. Now, this has been a very controversial thing for the CEO of Lucasfilm to say. Because and let me just redo the quote. Yeah. Because none of you have like read this before.
No.
So she says, every one of these movies is a particularly hard nut to crack, said Kennedy. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than the passionate storytellers who get together to talk about what the next iteration might be. We go through a really normal development process that everyone else does. So. Yeah, that's basically like spiked a lot of online haters. First off, like, what do you guys think? Just when you hear that, I just want to like, what's your initial reaction to that? Like, what do you think she's trying to say?
I agree for the new movies. I disagree for everything else because everything else is made in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like Clone Wars is between 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's such a dumb thing to say because I think I'm fine with like the new movies. Like if she says that for the new kind of like segment in the saga, because it's like they want it to be like original and stuff like that,
and
right?
If we're honest, episode 8 felt like it was pulled out of someone's hair.
It really was.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's not even worth defending that.
Okay, what do you mean no source material? Like
He's still trying to get over the question over here.
Like expanded universe.
Think about it this way: Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
They made books. They made movies. And now they're making a new series. But they have like books to pull from.
There's tons of material.
There's tons of material, right? They have thousands of shit.
yeah.
Marvel, they have several different versions of comic books.
book,
yeah.
Star Wars, there is no like they literally had to invent a new story for 7, 8, 9 because they had absolutely nothing.
But like, how much you say is borrowing versus like, it's like say Batman. Like, there's ones like where it's like this is the literal TV recreation of a comic book, and then there's sometimes where it just pull like say like the new Batman pulls a lot of themes and look and so much from Frank Miller's Batman, like the Ben Affleck one. How much you say is like, is it using source material? Yeah, 100% it's using a lot, but it isn't the same story or anything. No. So my question is that like, is she saying we've like, you know, this is a different story? Because like, you know, there hasn't been a published book of that same story, but does it borrow?
She's trying to excuse them from having to use any of the source material that there is really. Yeah. Because I was saying like I didn't care about like the new trilogy because that's like sure make something new and original, but I was saying it's a stupid thing to say because I mean they did come out with Rogue One and Solo, and both of those would have a substantial amount of source material to build a movie from, if that makes sense. So
I'm just gonna like weigh in with my opinion. I think what she's saying is just like coming across. She's just using the wrong words basically. I think what she's trying to say is we don't have like our movies are not based off of novelizations. Yeah. So I think what she's trying to say, as opposed to saying our movies are made with no source material, no comics or books, I think what she's trying to say, or should have said, is our movies are made originally based off of no books that come before it. We have plenty of source material to back up our writers of making great films going forward, but we do not have people like J.K. Rowling making novels first and then adapting those into a movie. I think that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah, and as long as I think if she did a better job explaining it, because you know in Star Wars Rebels they had General Thrawn, which came from a book. Like they have some source material, but for the new stuff, she should have specified for our new materials. We are creating a new story.
Yeah, please don't leave us hung out to dry, believing that you're just going to turn everything into a Last Jedi.
I think it's a bit. She's pulling a bit of a George Lucas right here, just like kind of saying something just off the top of her head without giving a deep explanation, and then it turns out a little convoluted. I know like things were very convoluted when George said, you know, my version of the sequels would have been going into a microbiotic world of, you know, explaining about midichlorians and such. And a lot of people were like, oh, great. Like, we get to watch Star Wars under a microscope. Great. Like, this is just fantastic. Everyone's going to hate it, you know? Like, and he even said, he's like, oh, and the fans would have hated it. But, you know, my theory is like, oh, no. And not literally. Like, everyone's taking it so literally that he was talking about this microbiotic world that about midichlorians and such. Like, we wouldn't have that. Like, what are you gonna go see like a Star Wars movie and like Ant-Man like mixed and then like what do you think is happening here? Like, of course that wouldn't have happened. Like, I think when he says we would have gotten into a microbiotic world, I think what he means is we would have gotten a lot of story material and explanation into like that level of the mythology, into that story. Like, hey, why are midichlorians? How do they communicate the wills? Who are the wills? You know, like we keep hearing about these wills, and like it's never been made clear.
Or like a Star Wars version of Osmosis Jones is what you're saying, where like little viruses and like bacteria are the main characters.
This is exactly what I was so confused by how people could take it so literally.
It's a story about a virus who's trying to infect people. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds so fun. It sounds like Star Wars Episode 7.
It's actually super good. It's actually super
step up from Episode 8.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing though, is like they said like Lion King obviously pulls a lot from other media. Like, you know, pulls a lot from say Hamlet.
Oh, dude, okay.
Like,
so
Kimba the Lion.
Not so sorry to kind of interrupt you a little bit, but for the Lion King, I actually did at one of the youth group or not youth groups, but during like church or whatever, you know, we teach them like a lesson or something like that. I literally used like Lion King as a movie to teach about I can't remember what it was. Obviously, I'm not a very good teacher. I can't even remember it. But I used it like to teach about like a part of the Bible or whatever, like related to Jesus and stuff like that. Because there's so many different things that tie in with like both Adam and Eve, and then Jesus and redemption and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally did a whole entire PowerPoint like slideshow about it.
Yeah. So The Lion King, it borrows a lot from an anime called it doesn't borrow. It's remarkably similar to an earlier one called Kimba the Lion. So much so that Matthew Broderick, who voiced Simba, was like, yeah, like I thought everyone knew this, but they maintained that they were like none of them knew it. This was like no one. We've never pulled anything from it. And the story's about a white lion who his father's killed, and he has to like basically like they both are very similar to Hamlet stories. And there was like, no, this isn't. And Matthew Broderick was like, I thought we were basing it off Kimba the Lion. Like I saw it as a kid. I thought this was like literally a remake of that. And there's like, no, we never knew about that. This is completely not based on that. So like, and I feel like they've done that a couple times before. But also like, yeah, you know, they definitely like people have watched movies. They borrowed things from other stuff. Of course you borrow things, but how much is like, oh yeah, we're directly referencing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with your statement though, is like the way you phrase it, like, yeah, like, you know, we borrow things, but these are completely original stories, not based on a book specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. So I think her message is just coming across a little odd, but you know, that's about it.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes here, but okay, what's it like? This has come up quite a bit, but do you think we're gonna do some episode 9 speculation? Did you guys see those TV spots that dropped this past week? Any of them?
No, I haven't seen it.
Watching TV in 2019.
TV spots. No? Okay.
Good meme, bro.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch one of them right now, and then we're gonna talk about it because I want you guys to see this.
Right now.
This will be the final word in the story of Skywalker.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Get tickets now.
We're back, and we just watched a bunch of stuff. We watched the clip that was released this week. We watched the TV spot called Fate, and then one that's called Duel. If you put the two together, you get Duel Fate. And for those of you who have not seen these TV spots, please stop listening because we're going to be getting into some speculation. We're going to be talking about these TV spots and this clip. And starting now, so
I mean,
Duel of Fates
spoil a trailer.
Came up in
Yeah.
the well, believe it or not, some people actually
Really?
yeah.
Spoiling a trailer. Weird flex. Okay.
I know people that don't watch the trailers.
I still like J.J. Abrams, so this does make me want to go see this one a little bit more. But
Get your tickets now.
Get them now.
Also, the way I see it, if we all go, it was my belief. If a movie doesn't do well in the box office and I had to pay to go see it, I'm sad about it. I have no right. So we're gonna go pay and we're gonna go see it because we want more Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
I actually want more Star Wars video games, really.
Which is why we bought Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Okay. I just bought Pokemon.
Come on!
I'm sorry. I've been sleeping or playing Star Wars Battlefront 2.
I have been binging as much as I can the Jedi Fallen Order just so that we can get around to doing a roundtable on that as well because I want to finish the story without skipping the YouTube and watching all the cutscenes. But so far, I think I've played like 17 hours, and it's awesome.
Wait, worth the $80-$90 base game?
Well, I think I paid like $80 for it, but yeah, 100%.
I heard it.
100%.
I heard
how many?
It's
have
worth
you
every
finished
dime.
it? Have
No,
you finished
I
it?
still haven't finished it.
We don't have much
How
time.
many hours
to
of
get the TV
content are we
spots.
talking?
Yeah. We don't have too much time.
17 hours in.
17
I
hours.
mean, you're about half, just over half.
Half?
Yeah.
I've gotten past the invisible planet that I'm not going to mention for spoilers, but yeah, like
Please
I'm
don't mention.
probably over half.
All right, I'll buy that.
Um,
That sounds
It's
good.
all on Star
And it's not an invisible planet; it's just one that hasn't been talked about.
It's not quite
So-
to the same level as what did I do? It took me 80 hours to beat the base game of Witcher 3. Wild Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Best
exploration in this game.
RPG
So,
ever. But anyways,
my thoughts on
tangent.
Duel of Fates are,
Go back.
here's the problem is the things that annoy me about Star Wars are never the cool parts. There's always really cool parts. The parts that are most annoying were the in-between of like, hey, that actually doesn't make any sense. And why do characters behave like that? And, you know, a lot of like random things of like it's weirder seeing, you know, them stop Poe and like the whole, you know, that crash and the really awkward kiss. Like that's the parts that really make the movies really weird, but are not on the trailers. So I don't know if like trailers, because there are really hype moments. It's the non-exciting trailer moments that sometimes detract for me, which is why, like, you know, I don't really get that excited.
I just hope we get the song in the movie. Like that's for me is like a number one. Like this is the theme and the title of the first movie in the series that we should be watching chronologically. And you know, you can watch it however you want. But I'm just saying, like, chronologically, like, this is the first movie, The Phantom Menace. The theme of The Phantom Menace is Duel of Fates. This is the theme that's now showing up in the Rise of Skywalker TV spot. You know, it kind of like symbolizes the Emperor. We get the theme again when he's fighting Yoda. I think it's only appropriate for this theme to return again in the movie, not just a TV spot. My favorite shot from the Force Awakens trailer was cut. That's the shot from Kylo Ren in the forest. Activates his lightsaber. It was like an iconic shot. And we never got it in the film. So, you know, I hope we do get this one in the movie, the John Williams score for this. This would be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
And music is often dropped for trailers, though.
Right.
I know. I just hope that this remains. But what do you think? What do you guys think?
Well, I'll just quick say I'm still a little salty about Last Jedi, obviously, but this has inspired.
Wait.
Didn't know that.
It has instilled a little bit of A New Hope, just a little bit,
JJ has thanked Ryan for leaving it the way it is, just like, you know, for advancing. You know, he pushed the boundaries in a way that JJ can't, you know, compare The Force Awakens to at all. So I think he's gone on record to say that as well, that he's thankful for Rian Johnson for the, you know, what he did, and he is looking forward to the release of this one.
Are you saying that it reminds you of A New Hope, or you have New Hope?
I was
being
just
punny.
I was being punny. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. Are you saying? Are you saying I was like, was it reminding you of A New Hope though?
Not
I
in
was
the
like,
slightest. There was nothing about the.
I was like,
well, I guess
wanna watch
spoiler:
New
the
Hope?
fleets of starships.
Or Star Wars 7.
Yeah,
There was a
Same
cool back-to-back shot there. Did you see that shot that we saw it in the original trailer, but we saw more of it in this TV spot where Kylo Ren gets out of his ship, walking along the snowy kind of plains, and then you see the shot in reverse now where he's passing the camera and there's lightning striking in the background.
Yeah.
And then we get the shot of Rey where there's lightning striking behind her as well. Is he off to like
Face off.
Yeah, is he off to help her? Is it like, you know, she's obviously in front of like the Emperor at this point, probably. Like is Kylo
obviously
Ren, like,
probably like
probably yeah.
Obviously
Like
probably
yeah,
maybe.
what do you guys think is going on here?
So I think the Emperor, being as sadistic as he is, has clearly like built up. Well, I guess built up over however long. One of his final orders, I guess, was to have this fleet stockpiled somewhere.
Yeah.
So they probably just got this massive fleet, just chilling, waiting for all powerful dude to come.
Yeah.
Get the ball rolling.
I hope there's a fantastic backstory for it.
I hope so too.
So
That's
much.
one thing.
That's way
I will
too
honestly
many
say
things.
that's the one thing that interests me the most so far, and really the only kind of like story thing you can really derive from the whole trailer is that the Emperor has like somehow or another like that there's this massive fleet and it's relative to him. How that ties it, I don't know if it's one of his final order things, like it was in like Star Wars Battlefront 2 in the story there.
Yeah,
the red like.
That was part of the contingency plan to have those sentinels or something was what they called them.
Those.
Yeah, also a good point. If you want to follow up the story from Return of the Jedi, the campaign for Battlefront 2 is a great place to start. That story takes place right after that movie ends, and it's a great trail off of that.
It's
as well.
such a fun, such a good campaign.
Very good story. What was I going to say now? Oh yeah. So there's been some, like, I want to hear like very quickly what you guys think about this. What if what we saw, Vader killing Palpatine in Episode 6, what if that was a clone of Palpatine? The real Palpatine that shows up on the hologram this entire time has been on Exegol Like what we see in episode 9. What do you think? What do you think?
Not a fan.
Not a fan? Reid?
I think
I'm with Ben on this one. Just
Not a
like
fan?
cut that off.
I think
with
Anakin needed to have brought balance to the Force. This is one of the problems I have with the even concept of sequels is like
That's true.
he
That's
didn't
true.
bring balance to the Force, especially if he killed a clone. He absolutely did not do anything then.
Well, that's one thing to point out. The prophecy of the Chosen One does state that they will bring balance to the Force. It doesn't say anything about destroying the Sith.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's the only
he
thing.
did bring
That's the only
balance
thing.
to the
So he
Force
could have brought
originally.
balance, but I just don't really. I haven't got that feeling. Aside from how Kylo Ren's being pulled to the light and Rey's being pulled to the dark, I haven't really had any other feelings of like the Force being balanced since there's conflict still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I see where you're sitting there. What about you, AJ? Clone, not clone.
I'm going not clone. I'm
Not
team
clone.
not clone.
Okay, I'm actually like
AJ
I'm
won
not
the last
exactly-
round of.
yeah, he did. He
Yes.
did.
I'm
That's
1
true.
for 1.
That's true.
Gonna hop on that bandwagon.
But yeah, I guess we'll find out when the movie comes out. 20
Yeah.
days from now,
Yeah.
guys. 20 days.
Get your
Get your
tickets.
tickets. Get your tickets.
Everyone's
Yeah.
looking at me.
Reid, support the cause.
Support the cause. Play Jedi Fallen Order.
You
We're going to
sound
be
like
doing
an imperial.
a round table
Yeah.
on Jedi Fallen Order, so you got to start playing the game if you have
I'll
not.
beat it over
Yeah.
Christmas. I'll beat it over Christmas.
That's right. It'll be coming soon. Sorry for those of you who are waiting for round tables on that. We just want to make sure that we're completely finished. Every detail of the game, covered it all up.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you heard anything this episode that you want to shoot questions, comments, feedback to, get in touch with us on Twitter, SW Escape Podcast, and our email is theescapepod@outlook.com, and I'll be recapping that again in the outro. But guys, thank you so much for coming in today, and Ben, thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it was good. Okay, thanks. Guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Reid and AJ and Ben. And Ben, for coming in on Star Wars Escape Pod, flying with me across the stars, chatting all about The Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, Kathleen Kennedy, Episode 9, comic books, whatever. There's so much Star Wars to cover, it's crazy. I feel like I fall behind just releasing one episode at a time like this on a weekly basis. It's almost not enough to cover everything. But if you're a nut for Star Wars podcasts and chatting all about that, we're not the only podcast out there. There's plenty of Star Wars podcasts. Shout out to Jedi Collider and Podcast One and RFR. I've been a listener of them for years. But yeah, no, there's great shows out there, so we're not the only source. If you ever want more Star Wars, go check them out. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, listening. It's you who drive the support of the show, and the listener count's going up. That's always encouraging. And next episode, Mandalorian, next Friday, another roundtable review. So tune in again for that. Black Friday this weekend. Go check out your toy stores and games shops. I picked up some stuff for Star Wars Legion. It's kind of like a Star Wars version of Warhammer. But yeah, if you've had your eye on something for a while, be sure to check it out. Twitter, SW Escape Podcast, and theescapepod@outlook.com. Shoot us your question, comments, feedback. We don't have fact checkers. You are it. So thank you again for listening, and may the Force be with you.